for us, not just in China, but for agriculture globally.
Greg Dowd, USTR Chief Agriculture Negotiator. This is the RFD Livestock Report.
Hey, good Friday to you. It's time once again for RFD Illinois. I'm DeLawes Yankee. Thanks for joining us. Rita Frazier will be joining us in just a little bit. She had a chance to make a couple stops in the fields, and we'll have some reports. Boy, the reports were all over the place yesterday, hearing reports of tractors all over, say in west central Illinois, hearing reports of folks trying to get into the fields but maybe still too wet. And the choices on, do we mud this in because we're playing beat the clock? There's more rain in the forecast for the weekend and early next week, and we'll hear an updated forecast from Dan Hicks in just a little bit. Then there was plenty of severe weather talk, especially in the afternoon, north of 80 for the most part, and east of 39. There was a little tail in that system that certainly brought some uncomfortable conditions to some folks in Illinois. I saw a picture above Sandwich, and one in particular that looked awfully ominous. So we'll get some reports from the field in just a little bit. Also in our 4Fs report, we'll talk to Paul Rohde, VP of the Midwest region of the Waterways Council. Progress, but still ways to go with our river system with all the high water. And we'll get a report from Steve Bridge down at the State House, with now just a couple weeks left in the legislative session. Plus markets. We going for more, or is today a day for profit-taking? Corn's been higher 4 days in a row so far. That and weather on a Friday. RFD, Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Attention, Illinois farmers. You won't want to miss this field day at SIU Carbondale University Farms. It's your chance to hear from industry experts about ongoing research and how it will benefit your farm. Join us on June 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with free lunch included. This is a joint effort of the SIU College of Agricultural Sciences, Illinois Nutrient Research and Education Council, and Illinois Farm Bureau. You must pre-register at IllinoisNREC.org and click on upcoming events.
We're back here on RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier. Well, we know there are some counties in the state reporting some pickup in field activity the last few days with this window that we've been given. It's still wet and no field activity as of yesterday in Madison County. We stopped by to say hello to Jason Bonensteel. Jason and his family farm there in Madison County, and he said it's late, but it's not the latest that they've ever planted corn.
Can't recall what year, but 10th of June, I do remember us planting corn at one point.
Bring me up to speed. So here we are, as we mentioned, the date the 16th. When did you actually get to start? You have some spraying done.
A little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of spraying. We've had an anhydrous tank sitting in the yard for probably almost 2 months now. Haven't hooked to a toolbar yet. I think if I can recall back, our best opportunity was in March. We had our tile plow hooked up. We had one day on a Saturday that we could have put anhydrous on, and that's the only day that we've had that we could do any field work whatsoever.
Now, your attitude is really good, and where does that come from? How are you keeping this kind of up-tempo attitude?
It doesn't do much good to complain.
Jason Bonensteel, Madison County. Up the road in Montgomery County near Walshville, Jim Callagher talks about the weedy fields and really where they stand mid-May.
It's amazing this time of year that there's weeds growing in the fields and not crops. The latest we've ever started planting, the latest we've seen it this wet. We've planted this late, but not started. Hopefully the weather will stay good and we can get going here in the next couple of days.
So we're talking on the 16th, and you said even today, you may go check a couple of fields to see if they're ready.
We've got some tiled fields over by Litchfield, and going to see if maybe we can start putting anhydrous back on again and get them ready to another couple of days of the sun and the wind, dry them out and start getting corn planted. You know, if we have a week and a half, we can probably get most of the corn planted. But Mother Nature's got to cooperate.
Take us back. We know everybody, most people had a pretty late fall last year, wet fall. What did that do to you here?
We was pretty fortunate. We had probably the quickest harvest for the bushels that we had for the yields. We was one of the fortunate ones. We didn't get no anhydrous or fertilizer put on, but we did get all of our fall tillage work done. So we were pretty fortunate that way. So we were sitting in pretty good shape last fall. We would like to get a little anhydrous on and maybe some dry fertilizer, but there was a spot in March, end of March, that I did get about 2/3 of the dry fertilizer put on. So we're not sitting too bad yet. I'm not very nervous yet.
That's wonderful. I didn't know what kind of attitudes I was going to get today, but both of you guys have fantastic attitudes. The other thing is, we're looking across at your home here, and you have a solid partner, both in life and on the farm.
Yes, 2013, my wife decided that she would help me farm, and she does most of the field tillage work in the spring and then runs a combine in the fall. And it really helps out having somebody, on the equipment that takes care of it, and makes my part a lot easier on repair work. There ain't near as much of that. I'm really thankful for her being able to have the capability to do it and the will to do it and then help the family.
Did you always know that you wanted to be full-time farmer?
I've done a lot of different things over the years. With farming, I always had the dream of being a farmer and farming enough where I could just live on the farm and not have no outside work. And sometimes it's overwhelming, sometimes it's very stressful, but all in all, I think it's really a great life.
What's your biggest concern? Now, you go back to that stress. We talked a little bit about health insurance and that kind of thing, and lots of issues. But today, what's your biggest concern outside of the prevented planting?
Well, on the health issue part, a few years back we got some ground down by Shoal Creek bottoms, and the first couple years when it flooded, some ground I rent from my dad, and he said, how can you do that? He said, that would just have me so stressed out in my health and stuff. And I said, well, Dad, if I don't have my health, I don't have nothing else. So I'm not going to get stressed out too much and let the farming stress me so much it ruins my health. So I just keep a positive attitude of that, and it's brought me through a lot of stressful times and kept my health in pretty good shape.
Montgomery County farmer Jim Kaler. DeLoss is back with a 4F's report and more here on RFD Illinois.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Dina Stroish connects rural routes for you. From the Farm Bill to crop insurance to GMO labeling, her expertise is apparent in the stories she reports. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I get to meet interesting people and share their stories, and I get paid to do it. I cover ag policy and really enjoy keeping the farming community updated on these important issues.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
All ag.
All Illinois.
All now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
This is your RFD Radio Network 4F's report. Fuel, fertilizer, feed, and food. All sources of essential energy. Here's DeLoss Yonke.
Talking fuel today with Paul Rohde of the Waterways Council, Vice President of the Midwest region. We talked about high water issues, and one of the side stories of all this is since the ships can't run because the water's too high, that impacts the amount of revenue that is collected to fund the projects necessary to improve the waterway system.
We're 3 months behind, at least on the locking portions of the river being open, and that's going to have impacts into the Inland Waterways Trust Fund. It's a gas tax, essentially, on commercial barges and towboats burning diesel, and traditionally it's been a 50-50 cost share with federal appropriations for capital improvements, and so we've got less revenue coming in right now from that, and that could be made up later this year, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of impacts that has on this public-private partnership that has been working well for many decades.
3 months behind on barge traffic. You often think about barges heading south toward New Orleans, but especially this time of year, there are a lot of ships that should have made their way much farther north at this point that just aren't allowed to move.
Usually tows are in St. Paul by May 1st, and they're certainly up in the upper by early to mid-March, Clinton, Iowa or so. And we're not seeing any movement. If you look at GPS, there's lots of material south St. Louis and south, not much yet moving on the upper. Of course, like I said, they're just now starting to open. St. Louis Harbor just opened midweek here.
Well, it's tough, too, because if one closes, so if Canton, Missouri is stuck, then everybody's stuck, from that point on. I mean, there's no detours.
Yeah, it's a system, and when one lock closes, you're right, the whole river essentially closes, and part of that challenge is because there's a single point of failure, and what I mean by that is, you've got one lock chamber at a dam, and you don't have any redundancy, so that single chamber closes, you've got no backup. The system was built in the 1930s, literally for capacity of steamboat traffic, and other parts of the river system, we've got twin 1,200-foot lock chambers. The Upper Miss and the Illinois are woefully behind times.
Paul Rohde of the Waterways Council and their Facebook page is sharing photos from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Rock Island District. The size of the trees that are taken downriver and eventually run into these lock and dam systems. And the cleanup required after the waters recede is immense just to help get the system running again. AAA gas prices, national average gasoline price, regular is $2.86 a gallon, 3 cents more than a month ago, 4 cents less than last year. Diesel $3.10 is 3 cents more than last month, 6 cents less than last year. E85 is $2.42.5. In Illinois, the average regular price is $3 a gallon, 6.5 cents more than a month ago, 2 cents more than last year. Cook County up to $3.35. And the diesel price is $2.96, 3 cents more than last month, 8 cents less than last year. Missouri $2.56, Iowa $2.68, Kentucky $2.70, Wisconsin $2.84, Indiana $2.91 per gallon.
That's this week's 4S Report. Tune in next week for all of the latest fuel, fertilizer, feed, and food trends and essential energy information.
All right, we'll go down to Springfield now. It's still a pretty lengthy to-do list with just a couple of weeks to go on the State House schedule. Steve Bridge reports from our affiliate 1450 WFMB.
The bill for legalized marijuana in Illinois remains under conversation. The bill is up for debate and possible changes as supporters seek passage. Opponents remain skeptical that legal weed is good for the state. Speaking on behalf of the Illinois Sheriff's Association, Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell says his group and most law enforcement have big concerns. They begin with being on the front lines of public safety and try to determine who's really driving high and what they can do to stop them.
Public safety is our number one concern, and there is no admissible field test yet in Illinois that will let us know if you're impaired driving down the road. So that is the number one key component that I'm worried about and I need to see.
Police groups are also concerned about the home grow component of the law, worrying about how they limit those over 21 to just 5 plants being grown for personal use. Employers have concerns if they want to try and keep a drug-free workplace. Jay Shattuck with the Illinois Chamber of Commerce says business will want to make sure they can enforce their rules on drug use on the job or while having a job.
Employers must be allowed to manage their workplace when it comes to cannabis or any other substance that impairs a worker, whether the worker is at an employer's physical location or engaged in work activities away from their formal workplace. A couple examples would be an on-call worker for a hospital or individuals that are traveling for their job as salespersons.
State Senator Toy Hutchinson, a Democrat from Olympia Field, says compromise is possible. Many of the concerns that the groups have right now, she says, could be applied to behavior and actions that are already going on, and it'll be the state's job moving forward to keep more folks under 21 from using marijuana, much the way they do alcohol.
What we're trying to do is tamp down on that. We can't create a situation that's already there. The way to address that situation is to put barriers in place and public health education in place to make it more and more difficult for that to happen, very much the same way we handle alcohol and underage drinking.
There's also been considerable pushback on the expungement of some criminal records connected to pot. State's attorneys say to do it automatically would be unconstitutional, and only the governor can expunge and pardon. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Steve Bridge for the RFD Radio Network.
Thanks, Steve. Another item on the to-do list is the proposed progressive income tax. It was passed by the Senate a couple weeks ago. It's not yet made it to a vote in the House. If you go to Illinois Farm Bureau's website, you see on a red banner there to call 888-200-3794 to take action. Use your zip code. That will connect you with your state representative Springfield office, asking them to not support the proposed changes to income tax. That, budget, capital plan, and more still on the to-do list. We'll break now for markets and weather.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Friday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans higher, and wheat ending Thursday, double-digit higher. July corn closing at $3.79, up 9.5. September corn up 8 3/4, $3.87. And December corn at $3.96.5, up 7 3/4. July beans closing at $8.39 3/4, up 4 1/4. August beans up 4.5, $8.46.5, and September beans up 4.5. $8.52.5. July wheat closing at $4.67, up 18 1/4. September wheat up 17 1/4, $4.73.5, and December wheat up 15 3/4, $4.86 1/4. July bean meal $3.0190, up $2.10. July bean oil $27.72, up 48 cents. In current electronic overnight trading, July corn up 4.5, September corn up 4, and December corn $3.99.5, up 3. July beans in the overnight down 2. August beans down 1 3/4. September beans $8.50 3/4, down 1 3/4. July wheat in the overnight up a nickel. September wheat up 4.5, and December wheat up 4, $4.90 1/4. In the outside markets, July Brent crude oil $72.62. That's up 85 cents a barrel. The June gold contract this morning up 70 cents. $12.86.90. In the livestock market from Thursday, June lean hogs $92.22, up 40 cents. July lean hogs $92.40, up 47 cents. June live cattle $110.47, up 80 cents. August live cattle up 97 cents, $107.95. May feeder cattle $134.22, down 170. August feeder cattle up 105, $143.32. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading firm on Thursday at 52 to 58. That's the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Friday morning. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather with the early morning ag weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Friday morning. Temperatures were well above normal across most of the Midwest yesterday. Here in Illinois, highs range from the 70s in the northeast part of the state to around 90 in some far western locations. Showers and thunderstorms occurring over northern and east central Illinois yesterday and last night produced some areas of locally heavy rainfall, as well as quite a few reports of severe weather. A stationary front stretches across the Midwest from northwest to southeast early today. This front stretches across Illinois, generally with cooler air to the north and warm and humid conditions to the south. Greatest coverage of shower and thunderstorm activity today will be along and north of this boundary over the northern half of the state roughly, while farther south any thunderstorm activity today will continue to be fairly spotty. This boundary will be lifting northward tonight into tomorrow, with best chances for thunderstorms on Saturday, likely occurring from far northern Illinois northward. This whole system will push eastward across the region, with more general rainfall across Illinois and surrounding areas Saturday night into Sunday. Right now it looks like total rainfall amounts through the weekend, or additional rainfall amounts through the weekend, will be in the half-inch to inch-and-a-half range over some west central through northern parts of Illinois. Lightest amounts of rainfall will tend to favor the southeast part of the state. Daytime highs today will be in the 70s and 80s over the northern half of Illinois, 80s and low 90s in the south. Warmer air will push northward during the day Saturday, then conditions will cool in most areas Sunday into Monday. A brief dry period is expected behind this system on Monday, but active weather will return to the Midwest next week. Above normal rainfall is expected next week from northern and western Illinois northward, with lightest amounts of rain next week falling in the southeastern part of the state. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
As you prepare for planting season, remember your neighbors. Whether you're an applicator, grower, or beekeeper, use FieldWatch to register your farm and monitor for sensitive sites around you. FieldWatch is a free, easy-to-use online mapping tool. Consulting FieldWatch is now a requirement for the over-the-top use dicamba products. Communicating with your neighbors will help you protect your farm and the environment. Don't wait. Go online to fieldwatch.com. Growing agriculture. We grow best together.
Spring is here and things are buzzing. Farmers and pollinators are working together to help feed us. In fact, 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat exists because of bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and other insects. Pollinators are important to our food system and the ecosystem overall. That's why farmers and those in the agricultural industry are working together to protect pollinators through education, research, and conservation efforts. Visit ILAGformonarchs.org to join the buzz. That's ILAGformonarchs.org.
RFD Radio Network's Rita Frazier connects rural routes for you. Rita delivers passion and reliable information to listeners on the RFD Radio Network. Her radio career spans close to 3 decades. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I grew up on a small farm. My job today allows me to connect with people from all walks of life and experience opportunity every day. I get to talk about what I love, farming.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
What's the excitement about buying a brand new car when you pay full price for it? County Farm Bureau members have a reason to be excited. A Farm Bureau membership gives you 2 car purchase discounts. When members buy a new Ford vehicle, they receive $500 off their purchase. And with the purchase of a qualifying Lincoln vehicle, they receive $750 off. Everyone loves a good deal, and the money saved is worth the price of our annual membership. This is just one of our 300,000 plus discounts that are always changing to fit our members' needs. Not a Farm Bureau member? Visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
That'll do it for RFD Illinois. We salute a community, in this case, West Brooklyn, a village in Lee County, population 140. Now, there's a Brooklyn, Illinois, but that is west of West Brooklyn. So is West Brooklyn, New York, or is there another Brooklyn in there I don't even know about? I don't know. Let us know. radio@ilfb.org. Sponsored by Country Financial. Your farm is your family's legacy and part of your hometown heritage. While you work sun up to sundown to get the job done, we're here protecting the things you love every step of the way. Country Financial. Learn more by visiting countrycrop.com. For Rita Frazier, for Jim